The first thing he noticed was the empty chair across from him, sunlight pouring through the cafe windows and landing on it like a cruel spotlight. In a room full of quiet laughter, clinking cups, and hopeful first meetings, that empty chair screamed louder than anything else. A millionaire CEO who could command boardrooms and markets sat completely powerless, staring at a coffee that had already gone cold, realizing that even all his success could not stop the familiar ache of being forgotten. Before the story truly begins, take a moment. If you believe kindness still matters, if you believe second chances can change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Pure Heart Stories. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The cafe was bathed in warm daylight, the kind that made everything look softer than it really was. Outside, people passed by with purpose, living lives that seemed complete. Inside, Adrian Cole sat alone, his tailored suit perfectly pressed, his posture straight out of habit, yet something in him sagged. At 42, Adrian had everything most people dreamed of: companies under his name, headlines praising his vision, and a net worth that could erase problems with a signature. But what the articles never mentioned was how quiet his penthouse felt at night, or how birthdays passed with polite emails instead of warm voices. This blind date was supposed to be different. A friend had insisted, promising connection, warmth, something real. Adrian had allowed himself to hope, and that was the mistake that hurt the most. Across the cafe, Maya Serrano adjusted the strap of her worn handbag and glanced at her watch for the third time. She wasn't waiting anymore, she already knew. The sitter would need her back soon anyway. As a single mother, time was a luxury she couldn't afford, and hope was something she rationed carefully. Maya had almost canceled this date, telling herself she didn't need disappointment layered on top of exhaustion. Still, she had come, wearing a simple dress, her hair neatly pulled back, trying to remember the woman she used to be before life demanded strength every single day. Maya noticed Adrian not because he was well-dressed, but because his loneliness felt familiar. It looked like her own on nights when her son finally slept and the silence pressed too hard. She walked past his table to leave, then stopped, drawn by an instinct she had learned to trust. Leaning slightly, she softly acknowledged that his blind date hadn't shown up either, the words barely louder than the hum of the cafe. It wasn't pity that guided her, but recognition. Adrian looked up, surprised, meeting eyes that held weariness and warmth in equal measure. In that moment, something shifted. Not joy, not romance, but relief. The kind that comes when you realize you're not alone in a moment you thought you were supposed to face with dignity and silence. They sat together without expectations, without labels, just two strangers rescued from their own thoughts by coincidence and courage. The hours that followed didn't change the world, but they changed something inside Adrian. He learned that Maya worked 2 jobs, that she measured success not in numbers but in whether her son smiled before school. He learned about sacrifices that didn't come with applause, about strength that wasn't announced in press releases. And Maya, in turn, saw past the suit and reputation to a man who was tired of being admired and longed to be understood. There was no dramatic confession, no sweeping promises. Just daylight slipping by as they shared small truths that felt enormous. When they finally parted, there was no exchange of numbers forced by obligation. Just a quiet gratitude, and an unexpected sense of possibility. Adrian returned to his office later that day changed in ways he couldn't quantify. Meetings felt less hollow. Decisions carried more weight. He started noticing people instead of just outcomes. Maya went home to her son, carrying a lightness she hadn't felt in years, realizing that being seen, even briefly, could refill parts of the soul she thought were permanently empty. Days turned into weeks, and fate, gentle this time, found ways to cross their paths again. A charity event at Maya's son's school, a community fundraiser Adrian's company sponsored without fanfare. Each meeting was still grounded in daylight, in reality, in the understanding that life was complicated and fragile. Adrian struggled with letting someone into a world he had built to keep emotions out. Maya struggled with trusting that kindness wouldn't disappear the moment she leaned on it. Both stumbled, both questioned, both nearly walked away. The true test came when Maya's son fell ill, and fear replaced hope overnight. Hospital corridors stripped away all titles and defenses. Adrian showed up without cameras, without assistants, sitting in uncomfortable chairs, learning that love often looks like waiting quietly. Maya saw then that this wasn't a man chasing an idea of family, but someone willing to grow into one. As sunlight streamed through the hospital windows days later, relief finally arrived. In that gentle brightness, Maya understood that second chances didn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes they came as consistency, as presence, as someone choosing to stay even when it was inconvenient. Adrian realized that success meant nothing if it wasn't shared, and that the emptiness he'd carried wasn't a flaw, but space waiting to be filled with something real. If this story is touching your heart so far, this is your sign. Please take a moment to like, comment, share, and stay connected with Pure Heart Stories. Your engagement helps keep stories of hope alive. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. There were misunderstandings, busy days, moments of doubt. But there was also laughter in the afternoons, shared meals under open skies, and a sense of belonging that no contract could guarantee. The cafe where it all began remained just a place, but the daylight there had marked the beginning of something honest. Just before the ending, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with the word hope if you believe that missed chances sometimes lead to the right ones. In the end, Adrian and Maya didn't find love because they were searching for it. They found it because they were brave enough to show up, to speak softly in moments of disappointment, and to listen when life whispered back. And as the sun continued to rise each day, their story became a reminder that even when someone doesn't show up, something better sometimes does.